Hello my dudes and welcome back to All the Mods Arcana. Last episode we built this pretty amazing, if I do say so myself, level of the tower dedicated to Ars Nouveau. Pretty cool. Now this bearded guy you see behind me, we're going to be working with him this episode. We're going to look into what are the best creatures to put into jars for your Drigme farm in Ars Nouveau. So, without further ado, let's jump in. So here we go, we have a lot of space up here. We could even make this bigger, because this guy can farm anything in a jar within, I think, around 10 blocks. So we've made it look all nice up here, but there's no reason to specifically do that. You can put the jars anywhere and this guy will farm a crazy amount of things. Also, the more Drigmes you attach to the Drigme henge by right-clicking with a Drigme charm, the quicker things will go. But it will need more source if you do that, so you've got to be careful. And also, this storage to the left and right is going to fill up really quickly. So we need to make sure we pick the best monsters that don't give us a bloat of too many random weird drops. So how do we get monsters into jars so our Drigme can farm them? Well, let's take a look. So there's a few things from Ars Nouveau that we're going to need to actually get this farm up and running. Number one, we need the jars of containment. So if we just put containment, there we go. This is actually most of the things we're going to need. So we're going to need the containment jars. That's where you put the monsters. Number two, we're going to need a tablet of containment. This is the ritual that you give to the ritual altar that captures monsters that come too close to the actual altar. That sounds a bit complicated, but you'll see it in action pretty soon. We also need a jar of source because the ritual is actually powered. And if you run out of source, it won't capture any monsters, but that shouldn't be too bad. We've got loads of source generation going on, so we can get that hooked up, no worries. So let's take a look. Have I got any jars in here? Oh yeah, this one's full. That's going to be perfect. I've also got my ritual brazier that we made last episode. And I've also got this tablet of containment. We got lucky we found this in the Ars Nouveau Arcane library. But we are going to need a load more of these. Basically, you need a tablet of containment every time you do the ritual, and we're not likely to find all of these monsters in one place, so we're going to have to use more than one ritual. So let's see how this thing is made. So here's the recipe. The glass bottles are very easy for us, just sand into glass, no worries. Also the vexing archwood logs, well, we've gathered those as well. The one thing that's going to be tricky is this manipulation essence. Now, just like with create, you can kind of hold control on anything in Ars Nouveau, and it'll bring you straight to the information page. It's not quite as cool as the ponder from create, but you know what, it's almost there. So this is where the imbuement setup we have before comes in handy. You see behind me, we set up all of these jars, all of these imbuement chambers. Well, this is exactly why we did that. So we want to make manipulation essence. This is one of the core essences from Ars Nouveau, so we'll go Ars Essence. So manipulation essence, it looks a bit like an S, like a weird funky S. And to make a manipulation essence, we need to put a source gem into an imbuement chamber, and the imbuement chamber needs to have these three things surrounding it. Now the manipulation essences are very easy to get: a stone button, redstone dust, clock. But the whole process does require 2000 source as well, and that's why we have all the source jars up above these things. This is one of the easier essences. Things like the anima essence, now this is crazy. This requires a wither skeleton skull, a golden apple, and bone meal. That's, you know, pretty intense. So let's do it. We're gonna need some pedestals, which I think I have over here. Yeah, here we go. Arcane pedestals. We'll need 1, 2, 3 of these. Oh, run out of gold, but that's fine. And now we need to pick an imbuement chamber. We'll use this one here because it's nice and nearby. Now what we could do is remove these deep slate pillars, but I kind of like the look of them. So instead what we're going to do is put these in our crafting bench again, and you get these kind of like squat, compact arcane platforms, and I think they work a little bit better. Yeah, that looks much nicer, very cool. So we put these on the pedestals, like this, the redstone dust, and we'll hide the button at the back because it's the least cool looking thing that you want spinning around. And we're almost there. So if we get ourselves a source gem now we put it in, and here we go. Yeah, so it's taking source from this nearby jar. I think it will look for jars within 3 blocks, which is just about enough to cover both of these two. But there we go, there it is, the manipulation essence. So if we want to improve the numbers here, we can also put another barrel on top, and that'll kind of hopper down into this thing, and we can come back and get loads and loads of these essences. That's a good idea. There we go, there's the barrel. It looks really ugly, so if you guys can think of a better way to do this, one thing you can do, one thing we could do, is put a barrel in the middle with source gems and have a starbuncle, automatically put gems in these chambers. That would look very cool. But for now, the barrel is just much quicker, much easier. And there we go, we can make all of these source gems. We'll make like half of them because you don't need that many. Into manipulation essence, there we go, and that's slowly ticking up. So there we go, 10 essences should get us 10 rituals. Now we need to make the jars. So with Ars Nouveau, you need a deceptive amount of glass. We've got like 600 here, but we'll go through that very, very quickly. We'll need archwood slabs, so we'll make a whole bunch of these, get some logs. So when you're doing this, you're gonna need a lot of containment jars, and also you have to be like kind of careful with these jars because they will capture any entity. That means if you're trying to catch a skeleton and he shoots an arrow at you, the ritual will sometimes capture the arrow in flight and put the arrow in a jar. It's pretty weird, but it happens. But yeah, 36 is a really good number to start with. Toss the rest of those in there. We'll need some glass bottles as well. So we'll make a whole bunch of those too. There's a stack, and that should be everything we need to make the rituals of containment. Bam, 11 rituals, 36 jars, a jar full of sauce. I reckon we're ready to go. Okay, so what's first on our list of things to capture for the Drigme farm? There's a number of things that are very cool to capture for a Drigme farm that'll get you easy materials that you'd otherwise have a difficult time getting. Number one, I think, is an Enderman. That gets us Ender Pearls, which is really huge. Likewise, getting a blaze from the Nether is essential. Before we disappear off on our expedition over to get some jars though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the scribe's table like this, and I'm going to move the scribe's table over to near the computer. Now, why am I doing this? Well, there's a pretty cool interaction with the computer when you set up a glyph. Basically, if you go with your spellbook, right-click on the scribe's table, you can pick a glyph that you want to learn. Now, the glyph we're looking for is Amplify. I'm a bit sad that we didn't get this with our free glyphs, but if we select this, what happens is the computer will automatically pull things from the computer to the table to learn the glyph. So if we go over here, we'll make a diamond pickaxe. And as soon as we make this and put it in the computer, there we go, it flies over to the table, looking very cool. And we get ourselves an amplified glyph. Very nice. But there we go, and the reason why we learned Amplify is because we want to go into our spellbook. We've got Touch Dig, which is a spammable dig that is great for cobblestone, basically. Then we also want to go for Ranged Dig. We're going to make this projectile. We're going to make it break. But we're also going to put one Amplify on here so that it can get diamond level stuff. So obsidian and things on that level. What we're also going to do is add pickup to this. Do we have pickup? No, we don't. So that's a good glyph to learn as well. So we'll do that too. And again, this is a really cool glyph. Now, with the spellbook, we can make this spell projectile, break, amplify, and item pickup. And what this does, ranged dig, what this does is it lets you shoot a beam like this, and that beam will basically, mine things from a range. It's really good for when you're in a cave and you see like diamonds on the roof, but you don't want to have to nerd pole up there to get it. You can literally just use this spell and it will suck things up. But we're not going mining just yet, but it's good to have this in your retinue. Alright, cool. So let's do it. Let's go and track down some interesting mobs to capture. Number one, I think a really great thing for you to gather in your Drigme farms is the basic farm animals. If you get a chicken, you can get feathers, if you get a sheep, you can get wool, and if you get a cow, you can get leather. And those are 3 super important things. We can ignore pigs because they're only really good for food. Sorry, pigs. I do love you, but you are useless. But we also want to be very conservative with our rituals. We've only got 7 or 8 of these, maybe 10. So if we can use one ritual to gather multiple creatures, that's just going to be really economical. So let's go and find some farm animals. Aha, here we go. Cows, sheep, and even a horse. Don't think we need a horse, but yeah, cows and sheep in the same location. This is great news for us. Let's get capturing. So one cool thing, whenever you see an animal out and about and it has these gold sparklies, you're going to want to not do anything but kill these dudes. Why are you going to kill them? Well, because the sparklies mean these guys have an ability totem on them. And ability totems can be insane. This one is wind charged. So if we look at this, I don't know what wind charged is. I think it's pretty bad. Entities in the area spawn wind charges upon death. So I don't know what that is, but some of these abilities can be insane. And if you're really lucky, you can even find an ability totem of creative flight, which if you find that, that's pretty game breaking early on. But let's set up the ritual and capture some animals. So we're going to want to clear a space. That'll do. So I can see what I'm doing. Put down the ritual brazier. Then we put down the source jar to fuel it. And we want a bunch of jars as well to capture the cows and the sheep. Now we only want one of each, but accidents do happen and we will get things like this pig guy. We can mitigate that by just killing him. So we're not going to get him. There we go. But the cow and the sheep are over there. Man, if I had some wheat seeds, this would be much easier. But there we go, the cow's in position. So we right click with the tablet to initiate the ritual. Then we activate it and boom, there we go. We got a couple of cows in jars, or at least one. There he is, chilling like a villain. And it looks like the sheep did the sheep wander too close as well? Oh no, weird, we've got a vengeance spirit inside this one, but the vengeance spirits are invisible. That's kind of interesting. I'm going to put this guy in the farm to see what he drops, but now we need to try and entice the sheep over here. So come here, Mr. Sheep. I wonder if we can like hit him so he runs in that direction. Pinball him around. There we go. No, 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 go that way, that way, that way, that way. Go on, dude. This way. Yep. Yeah, there he goes. He's in the jar. Amazing stuff. Now we dig up the ritual. There we go. Dig up all of these jars and dig up the source jar. Oh, do you know what? There's a bee. And I think a bee would be a good thing to capture because with a bee we can get honey. Oh, do you know what we could do? What we can do is we can literally pick up the bee. I don't know why I didn't think about this with the sheep, but we could pick him up. If we can get close enough. There we go. And now we can just put him in a jar like this. So this is where things get a bit weird. When you put things in jars, you don't necessarily get the things that they create. For example, a bee will create honeycomb. That's great. But the problem is the way this system works is the Drigme only farms things as if you've killed them. And I don't think bees drop honeycombs when you kill them. But I guess we'll find out if that works or not. Sounds like a chicken over here. So we'll grab him too. Down goes the brazier, the jar, tablet of containment, couple of empty jars. Initiate the ritual. And where are you, Mr. Chickaboo? Oh, looks like he's gone in. There he is, one chicken. Perfect. So here's a great tip for primal magic. You see these tree folk from primal magic? They have a drop that's needed for primal magic, and it's a pretty low drop rate. But if you can pick one up, you can toss them in a jar, and suddenly you can have that drop whenever you want it. Perfect. The next thing on our list is going to be some creatures from Ars Nouveau. We're going to see if we can find some Wilden Stalkers and... oh, is that a vampire? Oh my god. Don't want a vampire. But we're going to see if we can find some Wilden Stalkers and their variants, because there's 3 monsters from Ars Nouveau that we want to capture. They have 3 important drops: the Wilden Spike, the Wilden Wing, and the Wilden Horn. I think it is, in fact. There's a dude over there right now. So we'll set up the ritual, we'll drag them outside, pull them over to the device, and capture them in jars. Whoa, what's with the time? What's happening? What's actually happening? What did I just witness? Wait, is that the powerful Bill? I should have brought my... Oh, yeah, there he is. So we're going to see if we can capture that guy first. Maybe we get a vampire by accident. Honestly, oh my god, what? There's a guardian in here? Well, let's set the ritual up, because this can actually work as quite good self-defense. This ritual will capture anything. So you can set one of these up as like a safe zone. And if you're ever in over your head, you can run back to this thing and it'll capture any monster that threatens you. Boom, there we go. So let's get the powerful Bill. Get him out of the way. Get in a jar, my friend. Oh no, he's going to put loads of bats in there. Why do you summon so many bats? I mean, maybe we want bat drops. We'll leave the ritual running. Let's go and see if we can capture these other Wilden creatures. So, what? Oh my god, why am I blind? Ah! There we go, another vampire in the jar. So we got the Wilden, I think that was the Guardian, there with the orange spikes. We've got to go and find the other ones, the Stalker and the Wolf one. Oh my god, I can't see a thing. So my dudes, we've captured a range of overworld mobs. The next thing I want to do is go to the Nether and capture those. But before we do, I'm going to need to get a few things set up. I'm also going to configure the jars that we've already got. Might as well plug these in and get these farming in the background while we're in the Nether. So let's head up to the tower. So here we go, let's set up the jars. The first thing we're going to do is put the farm animals at the front. So there is the sheep. Where's the chicken? There's the chicken. Got a cow over here somewhere as well. Where's the cow? There it is. And of course, the bee. Amazing. And already we're getting drops from this. Let's go and take a look. Oh wait, when did we get 2 of these? Oh, okay, fair enough. Now, as you can see, it's slow going. It takes a while for these things to actually get drops. We'll put down the Wilden Defender over here. That's a defender, right? We'll put the Tree Folk there. We'll put the Wilden Stalker there. We're missing 1 Wilden that we'll save a space here for. And then we've got the 2 vampires, Powerful Bill and a regular vampire. We'll put these down because they could get us some interesting drops. One of the coolest things about Ars Nouveau is just capturing absolutely everything in a jar, putting it in this Drigme setup, and just seeing what you get from it, what kind of drops. So already, do we have anything yet? No. It might take some time for us to get the fruits of these jars, but we'll leave it to it. The next big things we want are, of course, the Enderman and the Blaze. And the best place to get those from is, of course, the Nether. So I think it's finally time, my dudes. Here we go, X marks the spot. This is my overground lava source. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th time I've been back here. But if we come around the side, what we're gonna do is, if I can get there, so I have a bucket of water, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, put this up above, somewhere like that. Oh yeah, look at that, perfect. And now let's get some obsidian. So range dig should dig at a diamond pickaxe level, so in theory, it's gonna dig up obsidian. Oh yes, it works, amazing. Plus, also, unlike diamond, it doesn't take like 6 years for you to actually dig the obsidian. So it's a much quicker way of getting the obsidian you need. And there we go, that marks 10. But while we're here, we might as well get a little bit more. So this spell does cost mana, that's the thing. So you can't just spam this. But there we go, 17 will go to 18, because why not? Let's go home and set up this nether portal. Yeah, and here we go, this is a good spot, so we'll plonk it here. Then a flint and steel right there, and we have ourselves a nether portal. So am I prepared to go to the nether? Well, not quite. I've got food. I don't have very good armor, but that should be okay. We'll grab some cobblestone to nerd pole around, and then I reckon we should be good. Now, I might need to defend myself, which is why I'm also going to make myself another spell. We're going to go over here, slot number 3. We're going to say this is ranged harm. Or, no, we'll call it harm ball. Harm ball. Remove that from there, and we're going for projectile harm, which is one of these. There it is. And we'll give it 1 amplify to give it a bit more beef. Or we could give it 2, because why not? Make it a heavy hitter. And there we go. We could add some other things like cut and, well, I don't know. What does bubble do? Captures mobs and entities it touches, causing them to float upwards. Oh! That could be really good. So we'll plonk that on there as well, so it harms them and bubbles them up. And we'll give that an amplifier as well, make this a real beast. Yeah, there we go. Don't know what this will do, but I'm keen to test it out. So, into the nether. Oh my god, the nether. I swore to myself I wasn't going to come here for a while. The fiery aura of this place seethes with magic. You believe this may be a new primal source. Interesting. So what are we going to grab first off the bat? We're going to grab that glowstone for sure. Yum, 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 yum. Don't mind if I do. But okay, let's take a look on the map. So we're looking for a nether fortress. Wow, there's... Oh wait, that looks like it's what we're looking for over here. This is exactly where we're going to find 3 very important mobs. We're going to find endermen, I hope. We're going to find blazers for sure, but we're also going to find wither skeletons, and those are essential too. Let's make our way over there. Here it is, the fortress, and it looks like we're in luck. There's our first customers over there, a couple of blazers. Let's get capturing, my dudes. Okay, here he is. Now, they don't really fly away from you, so I can just do this, I suppose. There's the thing, couple of jars, the brazier, bam. There he is, boom, the blaze. So, we're going to keep this ritual running because, again, these rituals are not cheap. If we can use one to capture multiple, then that's always worth doing. So let's go and see if we can pull over a wither skeleton too. And there is our customer, level 18. Don't know if that's good or bad, but here he comes. And there he goes, perfect. Now we're not going to find an enderman here, so we're going to pack things up and move on. Okay, so the last monster on our shopping list is an enderman. If you can find one of these purple biomes in the nether, these are really good for endermen. You can find endermen in the overworld, and that's a good way of doing it, but if you don't find one, and you have to be a bit lucky, I guess, you're pretty much guaranteed to find one of them here. So let's try that spell, actually. Let's try Harm Ball with the bubble on one of these withers. Here we go. What's this going to do to this guy? I'm curious. I want to find out. Here we go. Bubble time. Oh, whoa, look at that. Oh, that is really cool. So he's encased in a bubble and he's sent high in the sky. That's pretty good. Let's go and capture an enderman. Yeah, look at that. Don't actually look at it, but there's a nice big pat. That's annoying. So we did get waxed by an enderman. Oh my god. And lost a lot of XP, but that's okay. Later on in the game, XP is nothing hard to come by, so we'll be fine. Let's put down a ritual brazier, a source jar, couple of containment jars, fire up the ritual, here we go, activate it, and let's see if we can get an enderman. So I think the enderman has to enter these particles. This is the range of the ritual, and I think we can just look at one and it'll teleport over, right? That's how it works. You over there. I'm looking at you. Oh, yeah, here he comes. Oh, no. Oh. Are they... Wait, no, go in the jar. Go in the jar. Oh my god. So we captured 2 endermen. Very cool. So monsters in the nether are pretty tricky. It's not a safe place. It's not super dangerous, but it is something to watch out for. But there we go. We've got the things we need now. I think that's kind of everything on our early game shopping list. So here we go, let's put the last remaining monsters on their pedestals. We have the Wither Skeleton, we'll put him there. We've got the Blaze. Blazes are pretty cool because when you put these down, they are a light source. These blocks will light up the area around it. Pretty cool. And the last one is an Enderman. But I'm pretty excited to see now, what have we gathered so far? Let's take a look in the barrel. Oh yeah, look at this. So immediately we have a fairly big problem. The vampires we've killed are creating these blood bottles and they don't stack. So the vampires are going to have to go. I can't think of a reason for the blood bottles at the moment anyway, so that's okay. But it's always good to come over here and trim up your Drigme farm. Make sure you're only farming the monsters that are essential for you. We've also got some wool, some wilden spikes, loads of food, leather, the heartwood, and this is the real important thing for Primal Magic. You'll need it a lot if you want to go deep into Primal Magic, so farming one of these tree folk is really cool. Also, feathers are a real pain to get with fluffy seeds, so getting them from here is a good shout too. But the real amazing thing now is we have both ender pearls and blaze rods on farm. We won't see many of them yet. Oh yeah, there we go already. We've already got one blaze rod and ender pearl fragments which can be used to be turned into an ender pearl. And over time, if we're really lucky, we'll get heads from the Wither Skeleton, and that will mean we can spawn a Wither, which of course means we can get a Nether Star, which is going to be insane. But there we go, that's a very simple Drigme setup with the basics we're going to need. Now, one thing I'm not seeing is any kind of honey in here. Which leads me to believe, I don't know if why is there coal? Does one of these monsters drop coal? But it does lead me to believe that the bee doesn't actually have any good drops. And that kind of makes sense, because if you kill a bee in Minecraft, he doesn't drop anything, he doesn't drop honey. So we can probably remove the bee as well, but there we go, we'll leave the Drigme farm to brew, maybe get some stack upgrades so we can actually, farm some of these things in big numbers, because things like ender pearls only stack to 16 anyway, so you want some stack upgrades. But that's very good news. Okay, well before we call it there, that's the Drigme farm setup, but also I want to upgrade my gear. I like these robes, they're pretty cool, but honestly, Primal Magic early game gives you nothing that's any real kind of good. 3 armor and 1% mana discount is a massive ripoff. That's terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves some very simple Ars Nouveau robes. So armor in Ars Nouveau comes in 3 different flavors. You can make it with a diamond base to get battle mage armor, you can use an iron base to get arcanist gear, or you can use gold to get sorcerer gear. The difference isn't that huge, like the gold chestplate has 5 armor, 30 max mana, 1 mana regen. The diamond one has 8 armor, 30 max mana and 1 mana regen. So in theory the diamond is better because it has more armor, but the thing is, the Battle Mage Gambison from diamond has 1 empty spell thread slot. Whereas the gold set has an empty spell thread 2 slot. So in terms of raw magical power, the golden set is the best one. This gives you the most spell thread slots on your armor, which means if you want to be a really good wizard and not worry about taking hits too much, the gold set is the best one. So we're going to grab some gold and make this armor. Now also when you make your wizard robes for Ars Nouveau, they retain the stats of the armor that you start going in with. So if you want to get yourself like a cool set of apotheosis armor to use as a base, you can do that too, but we're going to keep it simple for now and go with basic gold. So how do we do this? We use Mage Bloom Fiber. In the enchanting apparatus, we surround the basic armor with 4 Mage Blooms. Okay. And there we go, the boots. That makes ourselves a full set of armor, so goodbye Jedi robes, and hello wizard outfit. It looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I like the look of this set. It's a nice fancy set, but it doesn't look quite right as purple on green. So what we're going to do is change the color, of course. And here we go. Oh, that's a horrible color. But you know what? No, it's fine. It's like a yellowy green, which will work well with my base skin, I think. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's put it on. Oh my god. That is really ugly. Well, maybe we'll change that. Maybe we'll make the set green. Oh yeah, now that looks amazing. That kind of fits my armor perfectly. I like that a lot. And there we go. We got ourselves some really good wizard robes with some actual armor. And these have the added bonus of giving us more mana regen for our Ars Nouveau spells. Pretty cool. So my dudes, a massive thank you for watching this episode of Journey into the Arcane. This episode we looked at the Drigme farm and we got the most essential creatures for early game Ars Nouveau. There are a bunch of other really cool creatures from this mod pack, so in the comment section I want you guys to suggest any monsters you think I should be catching to put into jars for this farm. The flying book monsters from the Twilight Forest are a good example of something you could put in jars, but if you can think of another really good monster to put in a jar, do let me know. We also built ourselves some pretty simple mage robes. They're great for beginners, but we'll move beyond this pretty quickly. And of course we crafted a couple of useful spells that will help us going forwards. But a massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for some more magical mods. But until then, take care.